Hey, this is Wendy Day from Rap Coalition, and I'm sitting here with two people who are near and dear to me, Larry Miller and Shauna Reed, and together they're part of the Power Moves team. We help artists put out their music and make money with it. And sometimes it's even fun, huh?
It's fun most days.
It is, right? So that every now and then, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about money, but not necessarily money that artists are making. I want to talk about money that people in the industry should be making, because it's come to my attention that people do a lot of work and they don't get paid for it. So can we talk about that today?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of fucked up.
It really is. Like, if I'm working for you and you making all this show money or whatever, I should deserve my cut.
You should get something, right?
If I'm contributing to your success.
It's amazing to me because there's so much in the industry. We call them interns. And in my career, I've been very uncomfortable with having interns. In fact, I can't even really remember having an intern because I just feel like people should get paid. Even if you don't have a lot to pay somebody, just be honest and say, look, I'm building something. You know, can you come on board for X amount of dollars, and let them decide if they can do it or not. You know what? Also, the flip side of that is I've met a lot of DJs that are kind of bitter because they feel like they've helped artists get to the next level and they've gotten nothing in return. Have you guys had any experience with that? Have you heard about?
It's not just DJs, like the whole, in my experience, it's like really the whole team down from management and people that help the management and engineers. It's just everybody that contributes to the artist, the whole pie, the whole reason that they're making money. They're never, in my experience, they're never compensated properly. Like ever. And then when the big check comes, they especially don't, because hey, you've been around all this time. You wasn't making money then. You were making, the DJs making $500 then, so they still keep them at that level.
Right. Is that greed or is that ignorance? Like, what do you attribute that to? Just assholeism?
I think every artist is different, but I also understand that us being in the positions like the team, if you, I don't know, it's kind of a catch-22, because it's like if you really believe in, like in my experience, you can really believe in this artist and starve together and don't want to be that person that's like, hey, my lights are off, or hey, my kids, hey, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then you work so hard and get that person there with the intent or the, you just think somebody is that they appreciate, and that they understand. But at the same time, if we keep doing that and we keep just working hard and giving our all, they expect that. And then, so it's for me, it's always just been a sticky situation. But you just grow and you just have to learn. It's all about communication, and it's all about keeping everything on the table.
Yeah.
Right.
And eventually what happens is everybody leaves and then you don't have your original team anymore.
And that affects your
career.
Yeah. I've
Exactly.
seen it. I've seen like careers just plummet
Yep.
because somebody changed their team.
Right.
And
You
it
don't
just
have that same
amazes me.
magic.
Exactly. And it's amazing because there's really enough money for everybody. Like when you get to that point, you realize that you can afford to pay people. It's just, from my experience, it's greed.
Yeah.
Because how can you, like Shauna, how could you make over $1 million and not pay your team? Even though it took you a while to make that money, how could you not pay out like a couple $100,000 to the people that help you get there? And then even more ignorant is how could you think that it's going to keep coming when the people that were there to help you get there aren't there? Now the new team around you is just there for the money. They're not They're not the people that were down from day one that, you know, watched you struggle and suffer, you know? Now they're people that are just there because they want to check, and they're going to jump ship and go to the next person that pays them more. Yeah. Like the loyalty's gone.
Yeah, this was a big topic on Twitter last weekend, Shauna?
Yes.
And I saw a lot of DJs, like, I was working with this artist and all of a sudden they were making $50,000 a show and I was still making $500.
Yeah.
So
it's just crazy.
It was a lot, yeah.
It's almost like when you start doing work, like let me keep it as a DJ to make my point. It's almost like if you start at 500, even though their price is going up, they're not seeing it like you're worth more than 500. They're seeing it like your price is 500.
Right.
So therefore, 2 years from now, you should be making 500 or 550.
Yeah, they're not looking at it as
you're a
the
$20,000 DJ,
percentage of
right?
What we have coming in,
right?
So,
right.
You have the tweet, Shauna?
Yeah, I do. I have. It was a couple tweets that came from the original.
What would they say?
So the first one that I found was somebody said, "Let's do an exercise." It is at Topher Pat originally tweeted it. He said, "Let's do an exercise. Artists make $50K for one show. Please share the budget breakdown to include the following: the manager, the agent,
20%, 10%,
DJ,
doesn't matter, whatever,
security,
whatever,
probably a flat fee,
photographer,
another flat fee,
tour manager or road manager,
flat fee usually,
flights.
Well, usually the promoter's going to pay unless it's all 50,000 all in.
Hotel, again, and then ground transportation.
Yeah, so the last 3 year, the promoter's going to take care of those in most cases,
unless it's all in.
Yeah.
So let's just say it's 50,000 all in. Mm-hmm. So you're spending a couple $100 on hotel rooms. You're spending $500 on transportation to the airport. Airfare varies because if you're buying it right before you get on the plane, that could be a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
But let's just say that that's 5 or 10,000 all. Let's say it's 10,000 all in for transport. So you're left with 40. The manager's going to make 20% of that.
Yeah.
The road manager's going to make probably a couple $100. No, they're going to make a little more than that for a show. Let's say 500. That's kind of high, but let's just say 500.
But if your DJ is traveling with you, then they should be factored into everything.
You would think.
Like your manager.
You would think.
Maybe not the same level, but if that's the team, then...
Yeah. I think they should get whatever the going rate is. And I don't know what that is, because I think it's different for all areas. Like a DJ out of New York is probably going to charge more than a DJ out of Macon.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've seen that is kind of ugly is I've seen rappers promise multiple DJs, hey, if you help break me, I'll make you my tour DJ. But they say that to like 30 different DJs. Right. And that's just so crazy because you can't.
Grab the poppin' one.
Yeah. And then you grab the poppin' one. Yeah.
Or the cheap one.
That only came around once you started making noise, not the one that was originally
That's real.
there.
Mm-hmm. That's real.
Yeah.
That's real. Because artists tend to do what's best for them at that moment.
I don't know if artists realize the value that each person on the team brings.
They don't, because they don't see it.
Right.
They think it's them.
It's all me. I'm the star.
It's my music.
Right.
If this song weren't hot, it wouldn't matter because you wouldn't have a job. Which in a way is somewhat true.
Right.
But you still need somebody to answer the phone and make ancillary moves when you have a hot record. And you need somebody to hook up your attorney and your accountant and make sure your taxes are paid and handle the baby mama. Because you know the baby mama's trip when you're out on the road all the time.
The baby mama handler might need to be the best paid person on the team.
Right. Or as Waka would say, the blunt roller.
Yeah, the blunt roller. The pistol holder.
Right. Yep. Yeah, the shooter. The shooter should definitely be paid the most because they keep you alive.
I don't know. I just think it's interesting the topics that people want to discuss on Twitter in the music industry. It's just, it's funny. It's hilarious because it's people that have no idea and don't touch any of it.
Right.
With the most to say.
Always.
So that just means we need to keep an eye on Twitter for future topics for the show.
Exactly.
Definitely.
I remember when David Banner first started to really pop. It was like 2003, and I was negotiating his deal with Universal, and so many different people that played a role in his career from like 1997 to 2003 all felt that they should get money from that deal. They all felt like they played a role, from the publicist to other artists that had featured him on songs. And I realized that everybody really plays a role in an artist's success, but you can't pay everybody.
Right.
Like, if you're only making $300,000 as an advance, you can't give everybody $5,000.
True.
You're really going to run out of money like super quick. So, and everybody feels they're more important than everybody else. And people really feel a kind of way. And it comes down to them not understanding how the music industry works. It's really kind of sad because they feel cheated.
Yeah.
I've heard DJs like say to me, I broke Jeezy. And it's like, okay, maybe you did in your city, but there's 290 markets in this country where Jeezy broke. Like, you're one of 290.
Right. Yeah.
Not even one of 290, because there's like 5 or 10 DJs in each small area that played a role.
But it's a credit-based industry. Everybody wants the credit so they can go say, hey, I did this for this artist, so now I can sell myself to get to the next artist.
Right. Right.
I'm just a firm believer in, and if you did it for one, then you should be able to do it for another one. So
yeah,
if you know, that's just how I always felt like.
Make
me too.
Me too.
Me too.
Taking all of that and being so bitter about all of that,
move to the next one.
Exactly. Take what you experienced. Take what you didn't like. Take your faults and move. Like,
exactly.
I mean, it is the industry. You're able to do that. And
I just think that's smart. When I did Master P's deal, I didn't get paid for that. I wasn't supposed to. I didn't know what I was doing. When I did Twisted's deal, I didn't get paid for that. When I did Eminem's deal, I didn't get paid for that because I didn't really know what I was doing. Like, that was my training ground.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it either. Like, I wasn't salty.
Yeah.
But you went into it with pure intentions. A lot of these people are just hangers on. Like, they'll recognize the talent and look at them as a paycheck. Yeah.
Stay around and do just enough to
enough
be around.
I hate that shit. And then take credit for other people's shit.
Yep. Yep.
How do you guys feel about the people in the industry that offer services that don't really have value? Whether they're either scamming or they're doing things like showcases that don't really, and advertising them as, we have A&Rs coming through, this is how you get on. And maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't realize that they're not going to get anybody on by doing that.
Part of me is like, don't hate the player, hate the game. If there's money to be made by doing that, by all means, go get your money. But then I think really somebody needs to step in and do a better job of educating the artists so that they don't keep falling for these same traps over and over.
You're right.
You know, spending all this money for shows that's not going to get you anywhere.
You're right.
In a room full of people that's not paying attention, that couldn't sign you anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Or even if they could, they're there for the check that they got paid by the promoter.
Yeah.
I've just learned how to stay out of the way of that because it's a black hole. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm with Larry. Like, if you feel like this showcase or this person can help, you know, push your career, then by all means,
Then do
spend
it.
the money.
Yeah.
But I just stay clear of all of that.
But don't bitch about it if it doesn't work.
When it doesn't work,
yeah.
Yep. And the ones that are out here scamming, they get that reputation.
Right.
It
But
always,
fast.
yes.
Fast.
Yeah, artists don't know the way, so every opportunity or perceived opportunity that they think will push them forward, they're gonna jump on it because they want their career to advance.
Exactly. But then again, that's a part of the experience of this whole thing.
Definitely.
Because when we all started, we all did certain things that now we would never touch
Oh,
or
yeah.
do, or people
Exactly.
we would never. So it's part of the game. It really is.
I love how fast word spreads in this industry too. Like, that's such a blessing. And then it's for the good,
people.
yeah, and for the bad, yeah. But it's funny to me because some of the people that come up in this industry, their names become a verb. Like let's say you're getting screwed
I used
by
one last night.
Yes. Let's say you're getting screwed by somebody named Sammy Boo Boo. So people will say, "Yo, don't get Sammy Boo Booed," or "Man, I don't like that guy. He's like a Sammy Boo Boo."
Right. Quick.
With the quickness.
Reputation spreads. So.
You know what I wish, though? Like, nobody told me coming up how long it takes to make money in this industry. And I wish somebody had told me that because I really felt like there's something wrong with me. I was really doing like my best and really helping people. And it took me like 5 years to start making money. And then it took me 10 years to start making the kind of money where I could like really support myself.
Right.
And then I didn't really start to make money until like 15 or 18 years in. And it's like, nobody tells you, it's going to take time to become wealthy in this industry. And I'm also a little different because I wasn't willing to do what you have to do to become rich, which is take ownership in an artist's music. So in fairness, I did choose a slower path. Right. But I just wish like somebody had told me.
Yeah, I had completely given up on working in the entertainment industry.
Really?
Like,
seriously?
Like maybe like 8 years before. But in the meantime, I gained a skill set.
Right.
And then realized there was another way to get into
Exactly. Because you had a skill set that I needed.
Right. And I had never even thought about applying that to music because I was so disjaded from managing artists in the past or things that I've done. Yeah. So I was like, forget music. Like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. Like,
right. I get that.
That's where I was when you came too. I was 9 years in, and I was on the verge of that. Really, I had already said like, forget. Or can we forget this?
Yeah.
That's
we had a whole conversation before you walked in about cussing. So yeah, that's a lot.
Okay. So I really was like, fuck this shit, because I had.
We should start a management company called Fuck This Shit Music.
Let's do it.
Oh my God.
No, seriously. Like, talks about how long it really takes.
How long it takes. Yeah. And then you think there's something wrong with you.
You give it your all.
Yeah. Yes. And you feel like, oh my God, why aren't I winning? Like, it's fucked up.
And it's even worse when
somebody is winning.
Yeah, exactly. You know where I was going. It's even worse when you're enthralled in the winners, but you're still not able to sustain yourself.
Right.
So I don't know.
How much of this is luck?
Ooh.
That's such a good question.
That is a good question.
Because there's been so much luck on my journey.
Yeah.
And meeting you and finding out and listening to it's luck in this.
There's a lot of luck.
I don't know if luck is the word
or is it karma?
I would use. I think it's more chance.
Chance. Okay.
Yeah, like things
but
just happen.
Some luck.
It's definitely you have to be lucky. Yeah.
You could meet one person 1 year and 7 years later you met them by chance.
Right.
It was luck.
Yeah.
And then 7 years later, it's that person that lets you in the door.
Everything has to come together.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
How much of it is relationships?
Oh,
all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
That is the key.
I think so too.
Yeah.
That is.
I think so too. I think it's a cross between reputation, like good reputation, and relationships. Because if I look at just the areas where I've made money, not the free shit that I've done, but where I've made money, it's come through either somebody introduces me to somebody or they come to me because they're like, I've seen what you've done. I've heard about you. I want to be part of your not just team, but like I want to be a client or I want to work with you. Mm-hmm. I had a young lady call me last week and say, look, I work for a tech company. I forget where she's based, somewhere in the Carolinas. She's like, I'll move to Atlanta tomorrow to work with you for free. And I was so impressed by her, not because she wanted to work for free, because you guys already know ain't nobody coming here to work for free, but just how she came to me. She, instead of like, I want to benefit from you and come work for you, it was, here's the skill set I have that I can bring to you. Nobody's ever come to me that way before. Right. They've always come to me like, I'm a rapper, I want to work with you so that I can get all your connections and learn how to do it. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I see where it benefits you, but where does that benefit you?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
What exactly do I get out of this?
Yeah.
And she came opposite, and that's so rare.
It's a predatory industry.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Jesus said that. You're the predator or prey.
Yes.
Oh my God, which am I? That means I'm prey, because I'm not a predator.
I think people, they try to make you prey, but...
They do try to make me pray. Yeah.
There is no. What would you?
And if I'm prey because I choose to be.
Right.
Like I go into situations where I know that it may not work out in my favor, but in cases like that, it's usually not my goal. Like I realize going in, I could really get fucked here, but
but you
don't.
You're thinking past that.
Or I have gotten screwed in the industry, but I've gotten screwed by situations where I knew I was going to get screwed.
Willingly, though.
Yes, because the goal was to build somebody bigger. Yes. Yeah. And that success can be used to get my clients to a bigger level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
What's the hardest thing you've had to do in this industry?
Walk away from an artist that I truly, truly believe in and
That's
know
hard
that
as
they could be a
fuck.
star.
Yes. What made you walk away? Don't say any names.
I would never. Just knowing.
Put him on blast.
No, Larry had his way. Just knowing that I'm like my value and what I can bring, what I bring to the table, and what I see is not what they see. It's not their goal. It's not you know. Yeah. So you just have to take it and go to the next one.
Yeah.
The hardest for me has been dragging somebody across the finish line, like seeing where they could be, but they didn't see it in themselves. So I had to drag them kicking and screaming to success. And that's really hard because when you see the difference they could make in the world, but they don't have that vision, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest for me was being pretty much the same thing. Like I work with artists that would get paid the front end of the show and I couldn't drag them to actually go to the show and actually show up for what you've already been paid for. Wow. And then I've had an artist like just up and wake up one morning and say, "Like, I don't know why you're here, so you're fired." And it's like, what? So like, yeah, just dealing with artists' egos, I think has been my thing. It's like I don't have time to babysit grown people. So I was like, man, I'm not.
But that's what it is. It's really babysitting.
Shauna's good at that. I'm not doing it.
Glorified babysitting.
I'm good at it too, but I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it. As I'm getting older, I'm finding that it's harder and harder to put up with the drama and the bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Like I have a very short fuse now. So the artists that are narcissistic or drama filled or not dedicated to this, I have a really hard time finding the motivation to help them succeed.
Right. But the game is the game.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're doing this so we can just kind of chime in and drop some jewels and you know
just help people that haven't gotten to where we are yet.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish there was a me for me when I was coming up. There wasn't.
Right.
And that was so hard because I just had to forge new territory. After a while, it didn't matter anymore because it was just I put my blinders on and just fucking did it.
Right.
But it was always hard to get up in the morning knowing that it may not work.
Well, we'll be here for the people. Wendy might not be here every week, but
I won't be here every week.
Yeah, we'll
you
be
guys
able to
will
bring
be right.
you guys
we'll
what she's teaching us and kind of try to help guide you guys along the way because none of us had that. So,
right.
And it's free.
Now we have,
it's
now
free.
We do.
Free fucking knowledge.
Free knowledge. Come
free
get
knowledge.
This free game.
Where was this shit when I was coming up?
Right.
Man.
That's all right. We'll make the game better than it has been.
Yep. So the business of hip hop, business of rap, raponomics.
Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.